A very good morning class. We are in the first unit and yesterday we saw the definition of economics given by Adam Smith. We saw that Adam Smith in his book An Inquiry into Nature, Causes of Wealth of Nations emphasized on, which was written down in the year 1776, he emphasized on that wealth is the core part which is required for the development of an individual. When an individual grows, the society grows, and when a society grows, the country grows. You see what he believed. So wealth was the core part in the Adam Smith's definition. Today we are here to talk about the second person in the series who gave the definition of economics at different times. He wrote a book in the year 1890 named as Principles of Economics. Economics, Arthashastra ke Siddhant. The book name was in Hindi Arthashastra ke Siddhant, the Principles of Economics in the year 1890, in which he talked about human welfare, in which Professor Alfred Marshall is the writer, is the economist who gave this theory, in which he talked about the material welfare. He said that wealth cannot be an end. It is a means to satisfy human wants. That cannot be an end. If a human has to grow, if a person has to grow, if an individual has to grow, there are certain requisite value which one has to develop, and that value comes from the welfare part or material welfare part. Now, at times where there were different supporters of his view, even there were different economists who actually gave a same support. Like Pigou was there, William was there, Cannon was there, Webbridge was there. These all economists supported Alfred Marshall's theory. We'll look at what he meant to say by material welfare. In his definition, he gave more importance to human welfare in comparison to wealth. So wealth was a part, but not a core part. What Alfred Marshall focused on, that Adam Smith has been focusing on wealth as a core part, as a center part, but that is not true. The core part has to be the human welfare, and the wheels revolving around could be the wealth, which would be a supporting hand, which would be a helping hand to the human beings to fulfill their needs or wants. He said that wealth is only a means to satisfy human wants and not an end in itself. Wealth cannot be an end. That is just the requirement which every individual needs to fulfill. That is why they are associated with wealth. He emphasized that wealth is for man and not man for wealth. He focused on that wealth is for man and man is not for wealth. He does not come on this planet for wealth only. He defined economics. Now, according to Alfred Marshall, the definition of economics which he gave or which he quoted was a study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. It examines that part of individual and social actions which is most closely connected with the attainment and use of material requisites of well-being. He says that in ordinary sense, economics is all about the study of mankind. How a person takes a decision, how a person economizes his choice, how a person makes the selection of available goods and services. So in ordinary sense, it is a service to mankind. It is a study of mankind only. So wealth is a supportive hand. Wealth is not the core part. Now, thus it is on one side a study of wealth, and on the other important side part of the study of man. So I told you man should be at the core part, the center part is the mankind or the human being. If we draw the circle, the center part, the human being circle. And what is revolving around is the wealth. Means this has to support, it has to be a supportive hand to human beings. The human beings get a support from the wealth. That is why wealth is considered to be only a means to satisfy human wants. It is not an end. Wealth is not an end. Now, in this definition of economics or this theory of economics was supported by different economists I told you, like Pigou, a very renowned economist, he even supported. Cannon was there, William was there, Radbridge was there. There were different economists who gave support to Alfred Marshall's theory. We see the features, the main features of the definition of Alfred Marshall. First is study of mankind. Economics is all about the study of mankind, study of human beings, study of individual. And wealth is the supportive hand. Economics is study of ordinary business of life. Ordinary business of life means economic activities of a man, economic activities of a person, economic activities of an individual. Means whatever an individual does in order to earn something, that is an ordinary business of life. Economics is concerned with the cause of material welfare. Economics is concerned with the cause of material welfare. I will deal with this point. The most important feature of this definition is that wealth is not considered the fundamental motive behind all economic activities. Okay, do we do all the economic activities? Economic activities are those activities which are performed in order to earn something out of it, in order to generate some sort of income. But is it only the motive? As a teacher, if I am appointed over here, is my duty just to be as a teacher, just to earn only? Or some other aspects are there which are connected with me? So that other aspect is your material welfare, which Alfred Marshall talks about. Okay, wealth is one of the part. Wealth is an attractive part that is required for the day-to-day activities, but that cannot be the whole and soul. The primary importance is given to human welfare. Money and wealth are simply the means of achieving human welfare. Money is required. I don't deny with this the fact that money, without money, the world can work. No, the world can exist if the human welfare is there. But that too requires what do you call it is like a stick which helps us to walk. So without a stick, the people are handicapped. Means they do not have the vision, they do not have the ideas where to go around. So wealth is required. Without wealth, the system or the organization cannot function, or the human beings cannot be attracted. So it's the attractive part. For what we are connected, that is for human welfare. Money and wealth are simply the means for achieving human welfare. Further, economics does not study the whole of human welfare, but only the welfare which is material type. Material type means the economic welfare, wherein some sort of incomes are earned, some sort of remunerations are generated, some sort of earnings are derived. Material or economic welfare is that part of social welfare which can be measured in terms of money. When we say material welfare, material happiness or material welfare is one which can be rated, one which can be calculated in terms of money. The study of non-material welfare lies outside the scope of economics. See, economics, I told you, we didn't call it the subject as Arthashastra. Arth means dhan, money. Okay. So economics, whenever we are involved in economics, that means we are involved in the money process, money making process only. So anything beyond the topic or beyond the scope of money is not a part of economics. Okay. And the fourth definition is, fourth feature is use of money. This definition considers material economic welfare as a part of social welfare, which can be easily measured with a measuring rod of money. Means use of money means here point says that how do you utilize this money, the money that you have earned. Okay, you go to a temple, you donate something. That charity is the social activity that you are doing, the social welfare that you are doing. Okay, that is because of your culture, that is because of your etiquette or the manners or the upbringings that you have got from your family. So that need or that social welfare is even done with the help of money only. So money is a helping hand which helps to fulfill all the activities that a human being performs. So class will put it till here. Tomorrow you see the scarcity definition by Professor Larner Robinson. Well, tomorrow you see the features of this. Thank you, Joyce.